Well, welcome and Happy New Year again. Oh, wait, my talk's down here. Hold on. I got all excited. I don't always need it, but I do have quotes. You might want them. I like them. I went that far to find them, so I should. Okay, so it's Happy New Year. So I'm writing the talk, and this morning I woke up and I already had the talk written for 2 weeks from now because I was thinking where we are, and then suddenly I realized this is only the second Sunday of the new year, and I'm already way down the pike trying to get things in a row, the ducks and stuff. So Happy New Year, and welcome. For those of you who were not joining, who weren't here and didn't join us last week, we are beginning the New Year theme of passion and purpose. That's the theme for the whole year, and what I alluded to last week also was that I enjoyed the fact that Deepak Chopra's meditation center had the good sense to have their year be purpose and passion. I don't really know who came up with it first, and it doesn't matter. We crafted it from the one mind. We get to share it, but what I really want to remind you, particularly this month, is that isn't it like totally cool that we've got Deepak, that whole organization, thinking the same way and energetically that we are. Wow, how powerful is that? So we get to begin the year in that passion and purpose. And our theme for the month of January is starting here and starting now. And today's topic is brush up your logos. There are probably 3 people in the room who understood the reference there. So let me explain a little that it means today is a little bit about Shakespeare, a little bit about Cole Porter, and a lot about God. And the reason that a couple people made that laugh, there's a song in the Broadway show, I know, Show Tunes Are Us, Kiss Me Kate, called Brush Up Your Shakespeare. And I thought that since today we're talking about this beginning, and we talked a lot about words and goals, etc. last week, of course, and I thought about logos, the word, and brush up your Shakespeare being theatrical was also an inspiration and a thrust for me because Don and I have a dear friend here in town from Southern California, and Reverend Nancy Zala and I go way back to the 90s where we worked together at Agape, and she has worked with me, and this is a woman who loves theater, loves God, loves children, loves prayer, and whenever I'm around her, I am always in that mode of theatricality. So the idea of brush up your Shakespeare, and I will get to him later today, and your logos, because logos is the word. And so probably later on I may twist Reverend Nancy's arm to come up and do a closing benediction so she may pray with us and for us. But that's that. So brush up your logos. So let me go to lovely Wikipedia. Logos, an important term in philosophy, psychology, rhetoric, and religion. Originally a word meaning a plea or an opinion, word or speech. It is also the term used for a principle of order and knowledge by Heraclitus. You know, that Greek guy, whatever. The sophists use it to mean discourse, and the Gospel of John identifies the logos through which all things are made as divine. We talked about that last week, theos, divine, and further identifies Jesus the Christ as the incarnate logos. So logos began to get used traditionally or typically within Christian terms, just meaning the word, but it technically does not, and it is my charge to make sure you know that the translation of the word is what I said, but the grammatical sense, using it for word, is actually lexis. L-E-X-I-S instead of logos. So, however, they get interchanged, and as long as you're using the words, I'm happy. And as long as you're using the right words, the positive words, the creative words, I'm ecstatic. I'm entheos. I'm enthusiastic, because that's the key today. Brush up your logos. Pay attention to the word, because logos equals the word of God manifest in and through man, the divine creative word, that's Ernest Holmes' translation, which equals the self-contemplation of spirit. Ta-da! So you want to brush up your logos, particularly on a new year as we go forward, and I believe you might remember from a book way before that the word was with God and the word was God. So we have been talking about word and words and the logos for centuries. In the beginning was the Word. And I thought about that, and here we are. We extol, we teach, we encourage, we plead with you to do a spiritual practice, and most of it is about being in silence and mindfulness. And yet, we also teach and encourage and plead and nudge you to use your words to do that. And here's why. Words craft pictures in our heads. The pictures in our heads crafts the emotions and the feelings. When we have the emotion and the feeling is when we start to get into that vibrational receptivity by which to use our words, our logos, to create our world. And it's interesting, you'll see, if I'd like today is, we have a social hour after service, which means you get to circulate through the building. You can go to the bookstore, and I want you to go through the hall to the classroom on your way to Loftus Hall, because our foundations class completed their vision boards, and they're on the wall. And the deal is that we keep them on the wall until the end of the class, then each student takes it home to have it to look at. And why is that? Because you've all heard a picture's worth 1,000 words or logos. So what we do, because the human brain works that way, is we do a visioning together, we meditate and decide what it is that we want to create, what it is we want to literally outpicture, and then people cut magazine pictures or words or images, etc., and paste it on the board so that the images, the pictures, and sometimes the words, evoke the emotions, thoughts, and feelings so that we can craft our desires. And so now I'm going to go to a quote from Abraham Hicks, and I'm going to use Abraham a lot today. Abraham Hicks says, "As you perceive something, you give birth to a thought, and this thought now thinks. Now that it exists, now that it has been conjured, now that it has been focused, now it vibrates. Now, by the law of attraction, other thoughts that are vibrationally the same will come to it. So begins its expansion immediately." Wow. So Abraham Hicks often talks about the law of attraction. It's something we talk about in Science of Mind continually and have for years. So the idea being, if you have the words and or the thoughts and feelings, whoomp, what a powerful combination by which to outpicture and experience the goals and the desires in your life. Hence your passion, the feeling nature, and the purpose, which is often about goals or New Year resolutions. And what we talked about last week, we were talking about having goals and resolutions, and then we talked about the idea of the fact that maybe the word goal or resolution doesn't light your fire. Maybe that sounds flat, or maybe because you've had it for so long, you think, oh, another goal. And if you haven't met a bunch of the goals, you think, why have another goal if I can't meet it? So what I suggested was the idea of choosing a different word, a different logos, something that would inspire you. So maybe goal turns into dream, or resolution, an idea, or maybe that plan that you have, those desires, turns into your vision. That semantically, if a word responds and resonates to you differently, then those are the ones you want. No matter what the books say, you want to find one that gets to that feeling nature, because when you get to the feeling nature, the passion, then you're on purpose. Then you get to set an intention and move forward in that, and nothing gets in the way. No one, nothing gets in that way. So that's part of the goal of the vision board, because it helps you to outpicture that, because, oh, come on, we are, these human animal forms that we are walking through this life. There are so many distractions, so many detours, so many things that could theoretically take us off our path, get us off purpose and off track. So if we have pictures and images, if we have words and feelings that continue to generate through us, then we can stay on path, on target, to create the world that we want. And then this past week in our Science of Mind magazine study group on Thursday morning, we were talking about that. And we were talking about contrast, which is, again, something that Abraham Hicks talks about, meaning that when, instead of thinking about, man, look what happened, look at that detour. Why did that have to happen? This isn't what I planned. I had different expectations. And the world, as it sometimes does, changes how it shows up. The people don't always say and do what you think they should say and do. Have you noticed? I figured they got to be seeing the picture in my head. I sometimes feel like I want to take my vision board and just walk around and hold it so that, like, oh, so you'll know how to talk to me and you'll know what I'm aiming for because here it is. Maybe instead of business cards nowadays, we need little vision cards so that, you come and you go, how do you do? My name is, and here's my vision card. And they go, oh, that's what you're about. Oh, okay, well, now I know how to talk to you. I know what you need and what and do. At the very least, since it seems a little impractical to make that happen, although maybe, like John had the 49ers cap, maybe we just need a cap on it. With a holographic representation of our vision, yes. I mean, come on, they can do that.
You can get them at Big 5.
Big 5. So we'll have a holographic hat that shows pictures of our visions, our words, our language, and so that we can each communicate with each other. We say, oh, that's your picture. Oh, I get it. Okay, now I know how to do that. So, but until we can go to Big 5 and get that, for right now, we must have it inside ourselves, in our heads and hearts. And sometimes having it on a vision board or little Post-it notes or those affirmations that I handed out a few this morning for people I know who weren't here for the holidays. And there's a basket out there. The idea being that you get very clear about what you need to express or learn or your spiritual growth this year, and you pull out an affirmation, a quality of God, and there's a matching affirmation to use in your spiritual practice for this year. So they're out there if you didn't get one. And you know what? There's plenty. You want to take one for each month? Be my guest. There's an abundance. So if you have that, and you have your vision board, and you have your passion and your purpose, at least you're on track. And then when somebody comes and kind of, like it's like driving, cuts and darts in front of you, you don't go, wah! You just steer differently. In fact, the contrast there is, we were talking about that, is that what happens, it's contrary to what we think. When stuff happens, when we're dealt a challenge or the expectations aren't met, usually what we want to do is rail at it. Usually we resist it, defend it, fight it. Instead, we want to be more Eastern. We want to be more Buddhist in that sense, and we want to lean into the challenge. We want to allow it. We don't want to resist it. We don't want to fight it. What we resist persists. So there's the contrast. Instead of resisting and fighting and defending, we lean into it and allow it to be. And then I remembered when I was taught in driver's training that when you hit a skid, if there's ice or water and it's the skid, and they say, steer in the direction of the skid. Now that seems totally contrary, doesn't it? Because when the car starts to go haywire, you want to take control or you want to put the brakes on. But instead, you hit a slide, you hit an ice something, and you're starting to skid. Technically, what you need to do is lean into it. Well, that's very Buddhist. And they were way before cars. So I think there's truth to this. So the idea being, if there's something in your life that is creating contrast, notice the semantical change there. The idea, instead of a challenge, a conflict, sound effects. Instead of that, you've got contrast. So when something or someone in your life isn't out picturing the way you want it, isn't saying what you want them to say or do, then instead of, contrast. And what Abraham Hicks talks about with that is, once you identify what it is you don't want, you know how to release it. Let it go. So that you begin to put your mind and heart, your energy, your emotion, your intention towards what it is you do want. There's the difference. So the logos is hugely important in that. It's not just random words. You get to do that. In fact, well, I love words. Voted Miss Dictionary in junior high. Was not conducive to social parts. People, that's like people don't make friends with junior high students that are like sitting there with the dictionary going, did you know today's word is? No, but I loved it. It gave me comfort. And today, so while I was looking up logos, I came across a word coming from that lexis to lexical. I'm lexical. I'm lyrically lexical. Lexical, what it means is an adjective of or relating to the words or vocabulary of a language. Lexical. It's mellifluous. It dances with you. Instead of saying, I like words. Words are good. I read words. I don't read words. I dance lexically with the passion that is ingrained in the words. And that's why I choose the words that I do and differently. And so that's why I'm encouraging you that if some of the words in your vocabulary are not lighting your fire, sparkling you, making you feel lyrically lexical, you need to uncover, reveal, or find words that do work for you. We give you affirmations every week, and they're in your insert, so you can take them home and encourage you to use them. And if they don't quite fit, the whole goal of an affirmation is to find something that's pithy and passionate and powerful that's going to make you feel that, what you want. So you can pick and choose from what we have, even the affirmations that are in the basket that you get to choose for that, because it's an idea expressing itself, connecting with who you are. Another Abraham quote. A belief is nothing more than a chronic pattern of thought, and you have the ability, if you try even just a little bit, to begin a new pattern, new year, to tell a new story. How do you tell stories but with words and feelings? To achieve a different vibration, to change your point of attraction. The law of attraction is responding to your vibration, and you can easily change your vibrational point of attraction by visualizing the lifestyle you desire and holding your attention upon these images until you begin to feel relief. And that will indicate that a shift has happened. So what he, I don't know the politically right thing to say since she channels Abraham, so I never know if I'm supposed to say she, he. Abraham is talking about is getting to that place of the feeling nature to match the thoughts, to match the desires, to match the goals and the plans and the vision. Syncing that up. And again, that's totally holistic to have head and heart in the same direction towards what you want. So if you we all learn differently. Some people learn visually, some people learn auditorially, some, they're all that. Find how you learn best and make sure your world reflects that. So if you need a vision board, maybe you need verbal affirmations, or maybe you need to read something every day to allow that. Then you get to that feeling nature. And that's the fire in the belly that Sam Keen wrote about, getting that stirred up, getting so the point that you're vibrating at the same resonance of your dream and your vision. That's what it's about. Because we talk about a lot, we're all energy. Everything is energy. This podium is energy. Yes, it looks inanimate to most of us, but it is vibrating with molecules and atoms. It is also the outpicturing of someone who decided, well, let's create this beautiful lucite podium, which I'm very grateful, by the way. So it's not inanimate. I don't think there's any, I don't even know if I have anything in my world that's inanimate. I name my car. I name things. And that's, it's not, for me, that brings back more of that oneness. If I understand, if I can connect personally to something, T-H-I-N-G, and by naming it, if that brings me closer, it works for me. That's my semantics. That's my logos. That works. Most of you being over the age of 18, that I can tell, can find what works for you. You no longer have to take what is handed to you by an adult, by your parents, by your guidance counselor, by your teacher, by your boss. You get to create words and vibrations that resonate and translate for you until we get those holographic hats. Then we know how to, I think, it's not Dr. Spock, it's the other Spock. That Spock, that guy? Spock? Okay, that guy? Mr. Spock, thank you. Mr. Spock, wasn't he the one that was able to talk in all the different languages? If he met someone, he would know automatically what country or dialect or planet they were from, and he could speak in their language. Well, he must have had those holographic hats. He must have had the cards. He knew. That's what we wish everybody would do. There's always the comical things. Probably Denise Kelly could mention that. In relationships, a lot of times people think what they want in a relationship, and they just like the other person, well, they should know, right? They must get it, right? Come on, you know me by now. It isn't always how it works. Sometimes we have to speak our needs. Sometimes you have to say what you have to say, and usually, in that case, we do it with words. Yes, a lot happens through, looking at someone or body language, but usually our tool of communication is the logos. The life we live is universal life expressing through us. Our thought and emotion, conscious or unconscious, is the use we make of the original creative thing that is the cause of everything. Ernest. And as I said last week, most religious science ministers in January tend to lean towards the first 4 chapters. Well, this would be the second week. It would be the second chapter, the thing itself. And the thing works for us, the thing meaning the law, the creative cause. The thing works for us by working through us and is us always. So that's and actually the thing itself is one of the shortest chapters in the book. It's kind of like, well, the thing itself, it's spirit. It's the creative use of law. The thing, life, God, the thing. Not very poetic and romantic, but it works. I will go back to Abraham. I love this. Oh, this is new. Wait, I have 2 Abrahams, that's why. We are all vibrational beings. I think I just said that. You're like a receiving mechanism that when you set your inner tuner to the station, you're going to hear what's playing. Whatever you are focused upon is the way you set your tuner, and when you focus there for as little as 17 seconds, you activate that vibration within you. Once you activate a vibration within you, the law of attraction begins responding to that vibration, and you're off and running, whether it's something wanted or not wanted. Oh, you mean if I have the thoughts and then the feeling nature, even if it's about that, why in the world did he do that to me? Then if I'm holding on to that, I'm creating the vibration, that law of attraction vibration to create more of that. Why did he do that to me? Why me? I don't deserve this. What's going on with this? You didn't understand. So what we do, what I believe Abraham attempts to do, what all of the Eastern mystics attempt to do, and religious science and Ernest Holmes is get to a place where you are clear. And clearing means just getting rid of the distractions, that ticker tape that goes across your mind, so to speak. Getting clear, centering, and tapping into what is it that is your desire, what is your passion, and becoming very clear to that. Then, what Abraham is suggesting is that if you get in touch with that, and you vibrate from that for as little as 17 seconds, meaning 17 seconds of that, instead of, oh, this is what I want, oh, I can't do that because I forgot to da-da-da. You got 5 seconds worth there of, this is what I'm creating with my passion and my purpose. And you're holding it, and you're there, and you're feeling it, and then suddenly, somebody in your head, usually the committee says, well, how are you going to make that happen? Where are you going to get the money for that? Well, do you think there's anybody who could do that for you? And suddenly, the vibration drops. And what can happen if we're not attentive and mindful is we start following that line of conversation. Oh, that's right, it didn't work before. It hasn't worked yet. Why would I think it would work now? Well, okay, maybe I shouldn't. And suddenly, you've imploded to the small nothingness. So what Abraham is suggesting is that as you get in touch with a thought, a feeling, a desire, whether it's a tangible goal or just a state of mind, like one of the affirmations in the basket out there, be with it for 17 seconds. So what we're going to do right now, because, I'm one of those ones that they tease me about being OCD, talk. Oh, look, a squirrel. Oh, a chicken. Oh, sparkly. Which is why I'm so grateful for my spiritual practice. So that when I'm doing the work, 99.5% of the time I'm doing the work and it isn't about the, oh, over here, oh, what if? So I know for those of us who have that inkling, that OCD leaning, I'm going to lean into it instead of resist it. And I know for other people, because we are now in the information age, we've got sound bouts. I think MTV was a really cool thing, but I think it did us a disservice. Because then we began to function as 30, 60, 90, or 120-second sound bites, music, images. And if it doesn't go like this, we're bored. They don't even have double features anymore because people can't sit in the chairs in the movies to be still enough to watch a double feature, let alone a cartoon and a trailer. I miss going and seeing cartoons at the movies. I don't know. So because we have such a short, what did I say? Attention span. So we're going to try it. So you take a breath. Yeah, that's good. Breathe in, and I'm going to ask you to close your eyes so there are no physical distractions, because they're beautiful flowers to look at, or lights and the candles. So go ahead and close your eyes. And just for a moment, so that we can do this efficiently, just become aware of the breath. You know, that sweet inspiration in and out that supports and sustains your body effortlessly, magically, without any thought to it. And now we're just having our attention and awareness on it, not trying to change it, no expectations of the breath, just letting the breath breathe us. As the meditation Reverend Kathy used this morning, I am the breath of life. And we're just with that for a moment. And then you breathe in with an awareness of opening up the mind, capital M, mind, to thinking, resting your thought upon one thing that you desire. Not a list thing, not, oh, I really should clean out the garage. Not one of those. I'd like to take a walk in the park. I'd like to read a new book. I'd like to write a new song. Something that is a desire. And I want you to get to the feeling nature of it first. And sometimes the way to do that, because sometimes, if we've been so blocked by detours and distractions, we forget how to feel that. So the way to get there is to envision, imagine, if you will, what you would feel like if that desire were met. That was the best book I've read. It was delicious. I didn't even want to finish it. I felt so good, so inspired, so full, so rich. Go to that. I'd like to learn how to speak a foreign language, but I'm afraid to take a class, and I'm too old to learn. And instead of that, go to, it is the end of the class, and you can now speak that language and say a few words, and you feel that sense of accomplishment. So whatever it is, get in touch with one sweet desire, one vision. And now for 17 seconds, I'd like you to be in the feeling nature of knowing that that desire is met successfully, efficiently, effortlessly, and lovingly. Now breathe into it. And breathe in, just let that desire rest. And then what I'd like you to do in your head before, if you're still, eyes still closed, just take that accomplished feeling of that desire, that goal, that vision, and pretend it is a dandelion held in front of your lips, and just take a breath in and release it. Release it to the universe and let those seeds scatter. And gently and quietly and sweetly return to being open-eyed and present. And Abraham continues with, that which is like unto itself is drawn. Vibrations are always matched. So as you experience the contrast which inspires the new desire, this new desire, whether it is a strong one or a soft one, summoning unto itself proportionately. And as it summons, it is always answered. It is the basis of our universe. When it is asked, it is always given. Humans think they are asking with their words or even with their actions, and sometimes you are, but the universe is not responding to your words or your action. The universe is responding to your vibrational calling. What we just did for 17 seconds. And I know that humanly, for many of us, to get to that, we need the words or the pictures, the ideas, the inspiration, the nudges. And then we can get to that. And then we get into the vibrational. And I don't want anyone to get tripped up on that word, vibrational, because it sounds kind of new agey thingy. But really, it's that feeling nature I don't doubt that there isn't anyone in this room who's had several of those. You don't have to be a mystic. You don't have to be a 30-year meditator. But that feeling nature, sometimes it's when you see a gorgeous flower. We have the best clouds in Chico, and you see those, a sunset. You know what, it's quite fun. I'm going to digress for a moment. You really get to know your own city when someone comes to visit. Now, I've been here 5 years, and so in some ways I still feel new because somebody will say, oh, we'll go over there to the such and such, and I go, huh? And then other ways I feel like it's part of it, and so it's zoned out. But when you have a guest come, and then it's like, oh, till you see this. Oh, I have to take you there. And yesterday it was a bit cloudy, and it was like, oh, no, I want the sun and the beautiful clouds. I want to show Reverend Nancy all of this. And you start to get in touch with that. Oh, we have to go to this restaurant, and oh, there's this. So you go to those images and feelings that will evoke that vibrational feeling. Or find a new word. If vibrational doesn't work for you, pick a new word for that. So now I will bring us to Shakespeare. Why then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Hamlet. You see why I love the theater? You got music, you got great words, it's all there. And it's as metaphysical as Abraham Hicks or Cole Porter or Ernest Holmes or Deepak or Eckhart Tolle. So what I'm saying by using that, besides I think it's brilliant and it's pithy and it's powerful, if you find something, if Shakespeare and poetry and Emerson call to you, use those. If Abraham Hicks and Tolle and Deepak and Wayne Dyer have sentences and affirmations and phrases that call to you and fit, use them. If Ernest Holmes, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and some of our religious science teachers and legacy, if that resonates for you, great. And all that said, you may live 15, 20 years and Ernest and those people do it for you, and then somehow it just kind of flatlines. Find something new. You may have been 5 weeks with Eckhart Tolle, and it's like, this is fabulous, and then it's like, yeah, now what? Find that which will stir that up, that will bring you into a place of feeling the vibrational nature, and you know what I'm talking about, that 17 seconds is not a lot. And so what I encourage you to do, because we do get busy, is when you do your spiritual practice, don't you like how I just inferred that you have one and that you do it every day? When you're doing your spiritual practice, and sometimes it means sitting in your chair and doing your meditation and humana, sometimes, the first best place to pray in Chico is the park. So sometimes it's about walking in nature to do the spiritual practice. If you could, for 17 seconds while you're walking in Upper Park, just be in Upper Park, not walking going, okay, when I get back, I remember I have to make this phone call, I'll send this email, et cetera, that's a pretty tree, and then I'm going to do this, that, and the other. If you can spend 17 seconds walking in Bidwell Park, connecting with that nature vibration, and then consider another 17 seconds, once you've done that, to adding that goal, that desire, that vision in that. 17 seconds in that energy of what it is. And if you need to use words to inspire you, so be it. Or pictures, or music. We have so many tools available to us when we open our eyes and our ears and our heart to find them, to guide us, to lead us to do this. I gave this affirmation last week, and I'm going to probably keep doing it, but it's particularly great for, since we're talking about words again. Ernest Holmes says, "My word dissolves every negative thought or impulse that could throw a shadow over my perfection." My word. And now if you trace it back to what I've been saying, it's not just about saying the magic word. It's not like, well, abracadabra, my life must be better because I've said abracadabra. If abracadabra means for you that sense of peace, that 17-second vibrational quality of wholeness, oneness, purpose, passion, and joy, then that word will dissolve every negative thought, impulse, or distraction that comes to cast a shadow on your demonstration in your world. So brush up your logos. Allow your words, your feelings, to match the vibration of that which you wish to experience, not just in your goals and visions, but in your everyday, workaday world, with the people that you meet, your family members, usually a nice one, big challenge. Allow that to be so that your word matches your thought, matches your feeling nature. You will be invincible. That's tapping into the passion and purpose of who you are and why you are here. I will repeat this again and then we're going to pray. Because you can never achieve what you don't believe. So, my word, whatever my word is, my word dissolves every negative thought or impulse that could throw a shadow over my perfection. My word will dissolve anything that keeps me separate from knowing God as my life. Something that simple and that sweet. I think it's time that we do that. I'm going to ask the licensed ministers and practitioners to please join me on stage as we do a spiritual mind treatment together. And those of you who are new to the center may not understand why we do that. Oh, Nancy, get up here. I'm sorry. Reverend Nancy. I ask them to stand up here, one, so you can see their beautiful faces, and then you also know how to contact them. If you have a question, if you have a prayerful need. But mostly it's about standing with me in affirming this infinite truth. So we're going to just do a closing spiritual mind treatment, not the benediction, and we are going to breathe in, close our eyes. The life we live is the universal life expressing through us. Our thoughts and emotions is the use we make of the original creative thing itself that is the cause of everything, the thing that is us and works through us always. The one mind, the one life, the one infinite presence, that which created us, animated us, sings through us in our mind, heart, and soul. And as I breathe that in, I know that I am one with that. I know that my word, my knowing of that does indeed cast out any shadow of doubt on anything that would keep me separate from that. Anything that would keep me from my good. That I am one with all of life, all of nature, all of intelligence, all of wisdom, all of love, all of joy. And as I affirm and know that for myself, I know that if indeed there have been contrasts in my life, I see it as such, I bless and give thanks for it or them, and I lovingly lean into it and begin to steer anew, to create the world that I envision, to reveal my passion and my purpose, to outpicture my goals, my resolutions, my dreams, my desire, and my vision. And as it says in our affirmations, because there is something I'm being called to that no one else could be called to but me. There's a place that I am to fill that no one else can fill but me. There is something I am to do and be that no one else could but me. So I choose this year, this time, right here, right now, to be the time where I reveal that. Where that vision surfaces and rises up through me with such clarity, such compassion, such joy that I cannot ignore it. And my 17 seconds turns into 10 times that. And I live in that vibration of the knowingness that I am one with God, one with the thing itself, that I am one with the co-creation of life in that law of attraction. I am one as cause and effect, that there is no gap. And then I breathe that in, and I claim it, I accept it, I allow it, I share it, I give thanks that I am in a community of like-minded people who will know that with and for me, even if I don't have my holographic hat on. I know that my truth precedes me in all I do. Capital T, truth. And I am grateful. And I am grateful because as I do that for me, I know that I am able to do it for all whom I meet. Oh, that's the oneness that they're talking about. Yes. So in humble gratitude, I sit with that gratitude and that for just 17 seconds more. And then I release it as I did the dandelion. And I gratefully let it be. Please join me as together we say, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. Amen. Thank you.